At 6:30 on the night of each monthly, annual, and adjourned meetings thereof, members of the public shall have a right to address the members of the legislature on matters pertaining to the county of Albany. Speakers wishing to address the legislature shall give their names to the clerk in the front of the chambers. Speakers are allowed 5 minutes. Speakers may not ask questions of legislators, and legislators may not question speakers except for clarification. First name on the list, please.
Sister Laura Kenny.
Hello, my name is Sister Honora Kinney, and I live at 93 Park Ave in Albany. And I'd like to speak again tonight against the proposal to make withdrawing from the search line at Albany County Airport a crime punishable by a fine and/or jail time. In light of recent events, we need to look at the tendency of our society to demean and degrade people and turn them into things. We are doing this in an effort to keep ourselves safe, but this effort is misdirected. We are much more likely to be safe in a society in which we respect one another and stress our dignity as human beings. The search process at the airport erodes human dignity. If a person going through the process reaches a point where he or she cannot longer tolerate the procedure and must withdraw, he or she is punished by missing the flight. The odd chance that the person is doing research for the purpose of testing the penetrability of the process should not justify further punishment. We are also seeing a demonization of the Muslims. We should not add to this process by passing legislation which is likely to cause further difficulties for our Muslim neighbors. Thank you.
Good evening. I first would like to thank all the legislators and the chairman who came today to Albany County Nursing Home's 42nd annual picnic. It was lovely, and I know that so many of you work at other jobs and that you can't be there, but it's so nice to have a showing. It just warms everyone's hearts. The employees know that you're there. Some of the residents know that you're there, and it's really greatly appreciated. And it was very nice, and they have really great music, and and as I said, it's 42nd year, and it's a tradition, and because of all of you have helped keep that tradition going. All the people there who get to stay near their home. Also, I'd like to, you can't see it, but if you want to see it, you're welcome to look at it. For National Nursing Home Week, which was May 8th to the 14th, the activities department put on a petting zoo. And they said that the residents loved the petting zoo so much. People who never ever responded to something else, they responded to this. And they're going to do it again. So it was very nice. Also, I just want to let you know, anyone who wishes to come this Wednesday evening at 6 o'clock, we'll be having our our family council meeting at Albany County Nursing Home, 6 o'clock, and we have snacks and bagels if people are coming straight from work, so you will have food if you are able to come. I gave you something that I think is a gift, and it's inspiring to me, and it's about resistance. And why I thought of giving it to you was because one of the legislators that worked very hard recently put a family member in Albany County Nursing Home. And it's like people's good work often come back to them. And none of us know when we're going to need, obviously, a nursing home. And so I realized that it's a very hard thing to do, to stand up for things like the nursing home. It's very difficult. And I just want to read you about 3 lines. No person, ideal, or institution becomes great until great resistance has been encountered. And greatness cannot be achieved until this is understood. We are fortunate to have such great resistance. The resistance is evidence of our greatness, and it provides us with the energy to prevail. And I know that I'm talking about the nursing home, but I'm also talking about so many other things that you do. And it's very hard because some people always want something and some don't, and because of economics. And I wanted to give this to you because to show you that resistance isn't always how we see it as difficult, but it's inspiring. And that's what makes us great. So thank you for everything you do and for the nursing home. Thank you.
Thank you, Renee.
Okay, you all know I like following Renee because I don't have to say anything. I do have to say something though. There are a handful of legislators who still have not actually been in the nursing home to see who you represent. I don't have to say who you are because we know, some weren't even here, but we're still extending that offer. We really would like you to just take our tour and meet and greet the people that you do represent and the people that we need to take care of because nobody else wants them. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, June. Are there any other persons in chambers who wish to speak tonight? Not, public forum is closed. We'll take a brief recess. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Like many Americans, we at the Albany County Legislature are horrified and outraged by the vicious terror attack that claims the lives of 50 innocent people and wounded 53 more this past weekend in Orlando, Florida. We strongly condemn this cowardly act of hatred and violence that apparently targeted members of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender community, and stand wholeheartedly with the victims and their families. We mourn the loss of mostly young people with bright, promising futures, and we come together to show our support. We will now recite the Pledge of Allegiance together as one strong body, and then follow that with a moment of silence to honor the memory of each victim, to pray for those who were wounded, and to reflect on what we as a country can do to prevent such senseless tragedies like this from happening. You all stand.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Mr. Bassett.
Here.
Here. Burkhardt.
Here.
Lyman. Here. Chalmers. Here. Cunningham.
Yes.
Ralston. Here. Holloway. Green. Here. Sweeney.
Here.
Grimm.
Here.
Higgins. Here. Andrew. Good. Rayburn. Here. Higgins.
Here.
Lockhart. Mackey. Mariello.
Here.
Eckert.
Here.
Lane. Mendez. Miller. O'Brien. Reinhardt. Ignorant. Six. Here. Stevens.
Here.
Shea. Here. Cunningham. Here. Porter.
Here. Please note that there are additional sponsors that have been filed with the clerk. Start with current business. Resolution 224.
Authorizing an extension of agreement with the Lebanon Supply the Sewer District for Bedford Colony.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? And 225.
Authorizing an agreement with Webster Ford DBA Henderson Ford regarding the purchase of hybrid vehicles for the Department of General Services.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 226.
Authorizing an agreement with Creighton Manning Engineering LLP regarding design and construction inspection services for the Elbert Rail Trail connecting Link between phases 1 and 2.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 227.
Authorizing agreement with MJ Engineering and Land Surveying regarding design and construction inspection services for County Route 10, Hunters Land Road, Little Darren Creek Bridge replacement.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 228.
Authorizing agreements with the New York State Office of Temporary Disability Assistance and Interfaith Partnership for Homeless and amending the 2016 Department of Social Services budget.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 229, please.
Amending the 2016 Department of Social Services budget.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 230.
Authorizing agreements regarding the provision of home visiting program services and amending the 2016 Department of Children, Youth, and Families budget.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 231.
Authorizing notice of publication regarding the 30-day period for public review and comment concerning Albany County Agricultural District.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 232.
Adopting the proposed modifications to the Albany County Agricultural Districts 2 and 3.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 233.
Authorizing the submission of a grant application regarding the Healthiest Cities and Counties Challenge Grant.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 234.
Authorizing agreement with Health Research Inc. regarding expanded partner services.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 235.
I'm a member of the Albany County Board.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 236.
Authorizing the submission of a grant application and agreement with New York State Canal Corporation regarding reimbursement for marine patrol services.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 237.
Authorizing the submission of a grant application with the New York State Office of Homeland Security regarding law enforcement terrorism prevention program.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 238.
Appointment of coordinator to stop people
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 239.
Authorizing a lease agreement with Soldier On Inc. regarding the former Anthony Nursing Home property.
Mr. Cunningham.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm very much in favor of this resolution. I want to commend the executive and the legislature for moving forward with this. I want to express two hopes I very much hope we can pursue. One, there's going to be much construction work done with this project. I very much hope it is done with the project labor agreement. And two, when we were presented with some information about this proposal, we were told that this would be male-only housing. I very much hope that in the final negotiations for the lease that we encourage Soldier On to work with the county and make some female housing available in this facility. There are many female veterans who need the same services and shelter with the members of this housing. So I'm very supportive, but I hope we move forward on these two items.
Thank you, Mr. Cunningham. Mr. Mendy.
Mr. Chairman, I believe that we have new language on this.
That's correct.
Is that what we're voting on, the new language?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
I thank you for reminding me of that. There is a replacement resolution on the desk. That was distributed last week. Yes. All those in favor of 239? Aye. Those opposed? Thought you all sleeping, huh? Motion passes. Resolution 240, please.
Bond resolution, the amount of $2,200,000 to update and replace outdated equipment at the sewer district.
One roll call, please.
Baston.
Favor.
Bullock. Burko.
Aye.
Blake. Monahan. Stavisco.
Yes.
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 Flowers. Gray.
Yes.
Easter. King.
Yes.
Grimm. Higgins. Hogan.
Yes.
Joyce. Bacchus.
Yes.
Lockhart.
Yes.
Mario.
Yes.
Hale. Knight. Lane.
Yes.
Van Dyck.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Ryan Hart.
Yes, yes.
Garachi.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Gay.
Yes.
Tony.
Yes.
Ward. Willing.
Yes. 38. Resolution 241, please.
Authorizing agreement between the Albany County Business Improvement District and the Albany Convention Authority regarding a National Grid Urban Center Commercial District revitalization.
Please note Mr. Ray Joyce's abstention, please. Mr.
I have
Stevens.
abstention also.
Mr. Stevens would also like to abstain. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 242.
May 2016 District Attorney's Budget.
Mr. Mendy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I rise this proposal not because I disagree with the concepts, but there are an awful lot of questions when I took a look at the analysis of the numbers that we received from the district attorney's office. A lot of questions came up. Now, the umbrella of this discussion really is that we, as legislators, have a fiduciary responsibility. We should not vote on any piece of legislation that we don't understand, that we don't have all the answers for. And that's why I bring this to the legislature's attention. The other issue in this is that this proposal is for the district attorney's office. But we as legislators have the responsibility for the entire county budget. And I have a strong concern that the changes that the district attorney has proposed would have a significant detrimental impact on other like departments like the public defender and the county attorney. We should find out their sense of what this is, because it's a radical change from what is currently being done at the district attorney's office. For example, he is creating 7 supervisory positions known now as bureau chiefs. The interesting part of that, with 7 supervisory positions, those 7 positions are going to be supervising 28 other attorneys. That's a total of 4 attorneys per supervisor. Very, very small group of people per supervisor. You have to question, one of the questions is, do you need that level of supervision? But just looking at the numbers, and again, I want to reinforce, these are not numbers that I made up. These are numbers that we got from the district attorney's office for both budget numbers as well as the current salaries, and we just did an analysis of what the impact was going to be. 18 of these 37 positions would receive a pay increase greater than 2%. Half of those 9 positions would receive a double-digit increase ranging from anywhere from 12 to 209%, based upon the numbers that we were given. 11 positions, or about a third, 30%, would actually have salaries cut to what the current levels are to the budget. Now, I appreciate the fact that this came in as a budget-neutral resolution, and I'm not saying that it does not, but we have to look past that. Based upon my analysis, this would have about a $40,000 impact on next year's budget. And let me add one other caveat here, is that because we're responsible for the entire budget, it seems that this kind of analysis, this kind of proposal is better handled during the budget process and not isolated outside of that, because we are responsible. We have to take a look at the total county budget. How could we possibly vote on something like this that may have a significant increase to the county budget without knowing what that percentage might be as an initial proposal from the county exec? I appreciate that the district attorney, and like the district attorney's office, probably a number of our departments in the county have difficulty retaining quality people. They will go to state positions, they will go to private positions. It is, I don't believe, unique to the district attorney's office, but I would be happy to see statistics on what that turnover rate is by department. Maybe it is a unique situation in the district attorney's office. But again, the question remains, maybe it's not. What are the turnover rates in the other departments? All that being said, is that I think it would be prudent that this measure, this plan, the resolution, go back to committee and these questions get answered. Now, we did reach out to the district attorney, traded messages on Friday, but did not hear back from him, nor have we had a response to any of these. So the questions are still outstanding. So I would like to make a motion to send this resolution back to committee where we can take the time that we need, that we do our due diligence on a very important issue, and then bring it back. If we approve it, or however it comes out of committee, we then can vote on it knowing that we have the answers that we need to make a prudent decision. So I'd like to make that motion to send it back to committee.
Mr. Demowitz?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I rise in support of the resolution. Those of us who attended the Finance Committee meeting had the time that questioned the DA's people on the changes in the merit of all these positions. Now, keep in mind, this is a budget-neutral change on all these changes, up or down. Budget neutral, no effect at all. And as far as $230,000, the county executive does it, and all the department heads do it, when they're hiring new hires, even though a budget is $50,000, they hire at $40,000. So you got some room in there in case you want to present that and a benefit for them, but they turn out to be really good. And nobody's getting a pay cut. There's nobody in the individuals getting a pay cut. So, but the most important thing is the district attorney's office is hemorrhaging people. Quality people are leaving the state because they're not making the same monies or close to the monies that they can get right up here. This is just going to bring some parity to the DA's office so that we can we can maintain some of the personnel that they have. And these bureau departments is what he's talking about. Supervisors, we're talking bureau departments. We're talking, you know, major crime units, rape units. These are guys that may have 4 or 5 attorneys in those units, but they're highly specialized attorneys that requires their supervision. So, and I suspect, as we do the budget next few months for 2017, that there'll be other departments coming in looking to bring parity throughout the county. And I'm all for that. We can do it the same as the DA did, budget neutral, work within his budget to make it work, then that's fine. Because the taxpayers of Albany County aren't going to be impacted by these changes one bit or one penny. So, Mr. Chairman, I hope we support this, and thank you.
Mr. Haynes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was going to speak on the actual resolution itself, but since there's a motion on the floor, I figure I should make my comments heard now. I agree with Mr. Mendick, specifically his point about reviewing and analyzing these changes in the context of next year's county budget. I understand last year the DA came to us, he wanted some very high salary increases, we rejected them at the time, and sent it back to the plan, and I appreciate the fact that he is not doing that. However, given the fact that his budget is going to need to be submitted anyway, in the next month or two, I think it would be prudent to review this in that respect. That being said, I do understand and appreciate the fact that the district attorney is a separately elected official, and he has the right to run his office and pay his employees as he sees fit. That being said, I have some deep concerns about how much we pay the attorneys who work in the public defender's office, the assistant public defender's office, the county attorney's office. The argument the district attorney makes for this budget amendment is the exact same argument that the county attorney or the public defender made about losing very skilled and well-trained lawyers to other places that pay a little more. And I think if we're going to review the salaries for the attorneys who work for this county, then we should do it in the context of not only those who are here to prosecute, get justice for victims, but also to those who represent some of the poorest individuals in this county and our criminal justice system, who otherwise can't afford a lawyer. You know, we have a tremendous staff of public defenders in this county, and I'm of the opinion that if we're going to give raises to the prosecutors, then we should be giving raises to the public defenders. We should be just as experienced because no one is, you know, everybody is innocent until proven guilty. And I think those arguments can be made. And I would certainly urge this body that in the event that we're going to approve this budget amendment, that when these departments come forward in the budget process next month, that we strongly look at raising the salaries for all the other lawyers. Because I think it's fundamentally unfair that you're going to pay assistant district attorney $100,000 or $98,000. I mean, it's a lot of money. Like I said, I'm not going to quarrel with that because I think he has a right to pay these people what he sees fit. But I think we need to do it for all the attorneys who work in the county. And I do also have some concerns that some of these will also be very significant for some of the employees who are moving into different positions, well over 2%. That's what we pay the rest of the county workforce, and I would certainly hope that next year, if this is approved, that you know, the DA doesn't expect with these raises to then come back and ask for another raise, 2%, if that's what the executive chooses to put into the rest of the county workforce. So I support the position to send it back to committee, and in the event that that doesn't happen, I'll be voting in negative for those reasons.
Mr. Eaton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to, you know, I'm not getting into the pros and cons of this resolution. I know where it could lead. I just want to mention that the caucus that we had, I asked a lot of questions about it, and I didn't seem to get the right answers. At least in my mind, weren't the right answers. So I said the caucus, I would probably wouldn't be supporting this because I wasn't completely satisfied. And then I got thinking that's not fair. Because a lot of times our leadership tells us things and they may go over my head or I may misunderstand. But regardless, I called Dave Soares myself. And after I went through the discussion with Dave Soares, I know where he's coming from, my questions were answered. And I can see the merit to this, and I also can see the problems to this. But it's his department, it's budget neutral. And so I know I said the caucus, so for my colleagues at our caucus, I said I wouldn't be supporting it. But after talking to Dave Soares and getting myself completely satisfied that I could sell to my constituents and present to them, I will be supporting.
Thank you. Mr. Burgo.
I rise to take a position that's a little bit different than most. I'm going to support the amendment, but I hope we as a body would think about the process here. It's obvious that many of us have unanswered questions. I believe that separately elected officials should have primary autonomy to structure their office. I can't second guess David Soros as to whether he ought to have 7 bureau chiefs or 6 or 5 or 4, but I would at least like to have the information, basic information, or a presentation, which, from what I understand, did not happen in audit and finance. And then, when our conference asked for information, there was no contact made, no information forthcoming. I want to support a restructuring here. I really do. I was on the Porco grand jury for 1.5 years of my life. I had a unique opportunity to see the district attorney's office from the inside, and I have tremendous respect for the professional people on that staff, and especially the ones at the higher echelons. So I find a lot of merit in the proposal. But I think that we as an institution have an obligation, all of us, not the ones that David called personally because somebody raised a question in caucus, but all of us. Is there a job? Is there an organizational structure diagram that goes with this proposal? Is there a narrative of what the new responsibilities of a bureau chief are that justify somebody going from $90,000 to $108,000? I don't have any problem with that, but I would like the information for what it is so that we could make a decision. So I find myself in a position of Chris and of Rich, where I would like to support an amendment to go back to, or not amendment, a resolution for it to go back to committee. And, you know, but I don't think, if it came back to committee and the district attorney were to come and give us a presentation, an organizational chart, a narrative, a discussion of what the real benefits are, answer the questions that were asked, I think there would be a very, very different vote than there may be here tonight. And so for that reason, I'm going to support the amendment. In the event that it fails, I will be voting no on the resolution as well.
Thank you. Ms. McLean.
Thank you very much. When we voted on the budget, this past budget cycle, obviously, I voted no, and I had a great number of concerns as to raises that were given out and how they happened, restructuring of financial restructuring of departments that happened, and raises that were given out that were above 2%. I'm a believer that when you are an administrator, that you should obviously never give to yourself more than you give to employees, of course. However, I was in the minority that day, and the budget did pass. And so I am going to support the resolution. The reason being is that, you know, basically what we're saying, if we don't, and that the budget passed, we're saying, well, what's good for the goose? You know? And so this did happen in several other departments, and I certainly cannot question District Attorney Soros in his ability to create his own budget, feel what he thinks is correct. However, this budget did pass, this did happen in other departments, so therefore I am going to support it because I don't want to take that opportunity away from Mr. Soros being the Elizabeth Thomas.
Thank you. Mr. Mullins.
Just in response to my colleague from the 6th Ward, the executive just hired a recent hire of Mr. Kinlan at $50,000 a year in the public defender's office. Part-time position, $17.50. So they're working at that, you know, that parity so that they can have, but the DA has, I think, a lot more longevity, long-term attorneys in here than public defenders. They seem to turn them more. With respect to the charts of the DA's office and everything else, and not being completely aired out, this certainly was in the Finance Committee. In fact, I believe it came out in Finance Committee unanimous. So if anybody had questions or concerns about the process and how it's affecting the DA's office, and that would have been a great opportunity to do that. In fact, and as I always do, I always ask everybody in the room, do you have any questions on whoever may be there? And everybody was satisfied. So I hope all the questions are satisfied to the majority of the people here tonight, and support the DA, and support the DAs in his office that is going. And as far as the other issues, we can certainly address those during the budget process, which I'm sure we'll be able to handle. And we'll have an opportunity to look at it then. But I just want to make sure that the public defender's office is moving in that direction. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Edier, Mr. Clayton.
Just a clarification. I don't want to misunderstood because my colleague mentioned that Dave Soares may have called me, but I don't know about that. I understood I called Dave Soares. He didn't call me. That's all.
Thank you. Mr. Clayton.
Mr. Chairman, I just have a couple of questions, if I may. Did we not ask the district attorney's office to come back with a plan last year?
My understanding is that during the audit, I was actually at the meeting, I'm not on the committee, but at the Audit and Finance Committee hearings last year, it's my understanding that they asked him to come back with a different plan instead of just asking for raises. They asked for a reorganization plan, a retainage plan, and that's exactly what I see in front of us today.
Then he came back with a plan that we asked him for. Is that about?
Yes.
True? Okay. One other question. Are we responsible for managing the district attorney's office? Are we responsible for setting a budget or parameters in which he operates, but are we responsible for managing his office?
We appropriate a certain budget amount to the district attorney's office. That is our responsibility.
Okay. So then what we're trying to do is take away the authority for the DA to or any department head to manage their office after we set the parameters in terms of the budget.
We do have line item authority as well, but yes, we usually let them manage their departments within reason.
And I guess the last question is, do I understand correctly, is budget neutral? That is not, it's not an additional cost to the taxpayers of this county?
That is correct.
Thank you.
I feel like I've been deposed here, Mr. Going back to your old profession. Mr. Grimm.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is it our role to exercise oversight of the district attorney's office? Of course it is, because they are spending county money. Yes, elected officials should have a certain amount of discretion in how they manage their office, but this is the county's money. Of course we should be exercising some discretion.
We have discretion over the budget, as I said.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's where the money is.
Correct, but not the management of the operation.
No, we're talking about money here, Mr. Chairman.
Talking about money.
We're talking about money here.
And
certainly,
acknowledge
now, when you talk about the pay raises here, I had an opportunity to visit, I think, nearly every department.
I don't doubt that, Mr. Grimm.
You know, you get a lot of great employees. You know what, some of them got to go into homes of abused kids. They have to deal with mental illness problems you can't believe. And they all got 2% raises. Now, in the proposal here, there are a number of double-digit increases in this proposal. So what am I to say to them who are walking into the homes of people who get 2% raises? So it does impact the rest of the county. In fact, we heard from Mr. Higgins, he wants more money for the public defender office because what the district attorney does vis-a-vis salary increases does have an impact on all the other departments. And ultimately, it's our responsibility to weigh these things and do ultimately what we feel is fair and in the best interest of every citizen in Albany County. This proposal would mean that over 10 people would be making well over $100,000 a year in the district attorney's office. Where I'm from, that's real money. So I want to make it clear, I believe that it is our responsibility to exercise oversight over the district attorney's office. When it comes to money, I think that's ultimately what we're elected for, is to handle people's money. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Reinhardt next.
This one's really tough for me. I tend to feel like I want to agree with Mr. Bergdorf here that I want to vote for this. I like the rationale of reorganizing and putting some logic into the budget structure, but I feel as though there are some questions that have not been answered. This is one where I'd really like to feel like I understood exactly what I'm voting for so I can answer questions from my constituents as to the fiscal impact. I realize there's nothing this first year. What I haven't heard is, are there any long-term implications? What does this mean for next year, for the DA budget? What about the other departments, as Mr. Higgins suggested? I just feel like I would like us to do what Richard Mendick has suggested, which is we table this, we get these questions answered, so that when we vote, we actually know exactly what it is we're voting for. I reiterate, I like the logic of this. I like the idea that it's revenue neutral and that we're moving towards kind of a rational model for this department in terms of its salary structure. And we should have that in the other departments as well. But what is the implication of all this together? That's the thing I'm uncomfortable about. We don't really know that yet. I would like to have those questions answered. I would be much more comfortable voting yes under those circumstances. But right now, I really think we should try to table it and act on it quickly, but just get these questions answered. I think it is our due diligence responsibility to understand what we're voting for, to look after the taxpayers' dollars in all the departments, and that's what I want to try to do. So I hope we could table, get those questions answered, and then move forward.
Mr. Stevens.
Yeah, I second Mr. Mendick and ask for a long roll call.
I've been waiting for a second. Not that I've been reading Robert's Rules of Order. Ms. Cunningham.
This has been a good discussion, and I would love to see org charts and job descriptions, but when I look at the materials and the backup materials, this seemed very obviously to look like somebody who took the counsel of this body, went back to his organization, and did a reorganization to make his department more competitive. I didn't see anything in here that looked like anything other than that. It looked like somebody who was taking a set of job titles and reorganizing them to better meet the needs of their department, which I gather, I wasn't here then, but I gather was actually his directive when the legislature last reviewed this concept. So while it would be great to have additional information that we could review and muse over, I actually think the material that we were given, and we talked about this in detail at the caucus meeting, it is exactly what it looks like, which is a reorganization of a department to meet the needs of a department that is looking to create different strata of different job titles to better meet the needs of your agency. So I'm going to support this. I also think that lots of questions were asked at the caucus meeting about the budget neutrality of this, and all of those questions were answered very concretely, that this is a budget neutral proposal, that any additional impact on the budget, we would again obviously have a tremendous authority and opportunity come the end of the year when it's budget making time to actually look at any additional allocation, and that continues to be in the full discretion and authority of this body. So I'm voting yes on David Soare's proposal. I think he took the directive to heart, came back with something that looks exactly like it is what it's supposed to be, which is a restructuring of his organization to better meet the needs of his department and the needs of Albany County.
Thank you, Ms. Cunningham. Anybody that didn't speak yet? We have a motion of Mr. Boyd. Been waiting all night for it.
I support the resolution, and I don't support this going back to committee. I think we did enough committee work, and I want to congratulate the committees that took and vetted this thoroughly. I think it's wrong to micromanage the DA's office with budget numbers and budget mechanisms. I think we have to get off of that, because we're not in the business of management. We're in the business of resolving a budget and making it fair. The other departments, their lawyers didn't get a raise, the public defender's lawyers definitely need it. We've got to look at that in the next budget process, but this process that we've just done was a complete process. And I think, you know, I don't like some of the actions that the district attorney has done publicly, quite frankly. But I'm going to support this because he has the right to reorganize his office. It's that simple. And we don't have the right to tell him that too many people got too many raises. I don't think they did. I think they're trying to make those attorneys competitive and not lose them to the private sector. Everybody in this room knows what the private sector's attorneys pay. So that's where we lose them, and we lose good ones. So I'm for this resolution. I urge a strong yes vote.
Thank you. Anyone else? We have a motion, I assume, to suspend the rules since the chairman has the authority to send it, whether or not to send it to committee. And that would require a 2/3 vote, so we'll have a roll call on that.
On the amendment?
This would be on a motion to suspend the rules and send it back to committee. And then the motion would be to send it back to committee, correct? Motion to suspend the rules. Mr. Kraus.
Mr. Chairman, just for clarification, there are 3 votes here, correct?
There will be.
1 to suspend the rules.
Yes.
2, if the rules are suspended, to send it back to committee. And then if that fails, the 3rd, to take a vote on the
I
resolution.
think we're on the same page.
Oh. We all here on here? Okay, thank you.
First motion is to suspend the rules. First vote, I'm sorry.
Mr. Festa?
No.
I'm sorry?
No.
No. Bullock?
No.
Bergwood?
Aye.
Chapman? No. Blake?
No.
Monahan?
No.
Comissa? No. Kraus?
Yes.
Cunningham?
No.
Dawson?
Yes.
Tomorrow's?
No.
Rick?
Yes.
Ethier?
No.
Feeny?
No.
Fine.
No.
Grimm?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Hogan?
No.
Joyce?
No.
Dukakis?
Yes.
Lockhart?
No.
Mackey?
No.
Mariella?
Yes.
Mayo?
Yes.
McKnight?
No.
McLean?
Yes.
Mendick?
Yes.
Miller?
No.
O'Brien?
No.
Reinhardt?
Yes.
Sigurachi?
No.
Simpson?
No.
Smith?
No.
Stevens?
Yes.
Boucher?
No.
Honey?
No.
Ward?
No.
Willingham? No. Thank you.
Motion to suspend the rules fails. 13, 25.
13.
One roll call on the original resolution.
42. On the original red. Yes? Sorry? On the original.
Yes.
Except for you first.
The original.
I went to that
That's an aye? Thank you. Bullock?
Yes.
Bergdorf?
No.
Chapman? Yes. Blake?
Yes.
Monahan?
Yes.
Comissa? Yes. Rouse?
Yes.
Cunningham?
Yes.
Dawson? Tomorrowitz?
Yes.
Straight? No. Ethier?
Yes.
Feeny?
Yes.
Fine.
Yes.
Grimm?
No.
Higgins?
No.
Hogan?
Yes.
Joyce?
Yes.
Dukakis?
Yes.
Lockhart?
Yes.
Mackey?
Yes.
Mariella?
No.
Mayo?
No.
McKnight?
Yes.
McLean?
Yes.
Mendick?
No.
Miller?
Yes.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Reinhardt?
Abstain. Can I do that?
Yeah. permission with the chair to abstain. Would you like to come forward?
Bill, vote present.
How about I vote present?
That's a good vote.
All right, I'll do that. Do I need to come forward for that?
You don't have to come forward for that. I feel like a judge up here tonight.
It's a full moon.
You got a big hammer.
Ignorati?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Stevens? No. Touche?
Yes.
Honey?
Yes.
Ward?
Yes.
Willingham?
Yes.
There was 9 no votes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
How many yes votes?
We have 28 yes, 9 no, and 1 present. Thank you. Resolution 243, please.
Rescinding resolution 379 of 2015 regarding real property, 393 Sheridan Avenue in the city of Albany.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 244.
Authorizing the release of right of reverter title 23 North Swan Street, city of Albany.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 245.
Authorizing conveyance of 1515 Cecil Road to town of Russellville. Parcel of Star Road, town of Freeman, to Mohawk Cousin Land Conservancy to support green space preservation.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 246.
Authorizing the county executive to execute a municipal agreement relating to local law D 2016, local law to establish a sustainable energy loan program on the county of Albany.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 247.
Endorsing the criteria and procedures for determining assigned council eligibility promulgated by the New York State Office of Indigent Legal Services.
Send that to all, please. 248.
Authorizing the distribution of mortgage taxes for the period of October 1, 2015 to March 31st, 2016.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. Motion to adjourn. Second. All those in favor? Aye.